whatever level. I guess mainly I was thinking of high school, but I couldn't get the right accreditation to allow me to teach in New Jersey, where I came from. So I took a job out in South Dakota where I was teaching American Indian girls at a school called St. Mary's School for Girls. It was run by the Episcopal Church. And most of these kids had one or more Indian parents from various tribes, like the Sioux or Oglala, or however you say it. Excuse me. But they sort of felt that they had been discriminated against. I think they really were, and made to feel that they weren't very good at math or anything, but I thought, you know, they could learn it just as much as anybody else could if they followed directions and do one step at a time. So I think I was a good math teacher. I stayed there 3 years, and besides the teaching of mathematics, I also had to teach a physics class, and we had a lab in the basement of our big building. And I remember once there was a rat ran through the classroom in the middle of a class, and we had to be able to drive the vehicle, which was a great big, well, a huge car anyhow. I learned to drive there without needing any license, because South Dakota had so few people per mile, they didn't even require you to have a driver's license. So I learned how to do that. Also, we learned how to cook for a crowd, and we often made bread in a great big, well, it's like a eggshell, half an eggshell shaped bowl, which was about 3 feet wide, and you made just tons of bread. And remember, we made a trip once to see a dam being built further out in South Dakota. I don't even remember the name of it now, but we took because the bread had to get kneaded down, and it would expand too much if you just left it home. We took the big bowl with us on our trip, and we had to be punching the bread down so it wouldn't get too big. And I remember once they had a convocation, which was sort of like a camp out for all of the Indian churches in South Dakota. And we went to this and camped out in a tent. And I remember we made coffee from the river water. This is the Missouri River. And I thought that was funny, to make your coffee out of river water. But I guess by the time you added the coffee, it didn't matter what color the water was to start with. And you also, getting boiled up, it probably killed off the germs there. And let's see. I'm not sure when Truman ran for president, but he was the first president that I voted for. I probably was 21 or 22 by then. And after I left St. Mary's, I went back to school at Brown University, thinking I was going to get a PhD in math, but instead I met my husband, whose name is Edward Forrest Moore. And at the end of that year, we got married, and he graduated with a PhD in applied mathematics. And I kept house for him, and we moved to the University of Illinois, where he stayed for a year, but he didn't like the job very much. And he was supposed to be doing research there, but I guess it didn't work out. And then he got hired by Bell Laboratories in New Jersey, and Bell was the company that took care of all the telephones and telegraph too, I guess. And I think they actually owned the telephones. And he was doing research and coming up with good ideas about the telephone business. And one thing that he got a patent for was finding the shortest path through a maze. All these various wires running every which way to connect various telephones in the whole country. Sometimes, I guess it was hard for the telephone company to know how to send their signal, the electric current, which path to take to get to from one place to another. So he solved the problem theoretically so they would know. And I think some other countries even adopted it. And I don't understand any more about it than that. Well, let's see now. Where was I? We got married in a little Episcopal church in Union, New Jersey, which wasn't my home church, but I had become an Episcopalian as of then. And when we moved back to Union, no, we didn't move to Union. We moved to Morristown, New Jersey, where we lived in an apartment building that was right opposite Washington's headquarters, where George Washington had lived and probably in tents during the Revolutionary War. Finally, I had another girl about 9.5 years later, and her name was Martha. Martha Chapin Moore. Her Chapin was one of her grandmother's maiden name, so she's carrying on the family name. And the interesting thing about that is that there is a statue of a Deacon Samuel Chapin, who was a very early settler of Massachusetts. And there's a statue of him in Springfield, Massachusetts, and he is my 7th great-grandfather, so he would be Martha's 8th great-grandfather. That would mean he was a great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. So, and I guess for Aaron it would be 9 greats. Great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. And I went to see it once. And so he's related to a famous person. I think he had a lot to do with settling in Massachusetts. I don't know whether he came over on the Mayflower or not, although I sort of think, since I did trace ancestors back to England and then France, that they probably came over very early at least. Well, anyhow, Martha, she married, what's her dad's name now? Michael Mallet. And they had a son named Aaron. Is just Michael your middle name?
Yes.
Michael, Aaron Michael. You got your dad's middle name, Mallet. And he is now 15 years old, and getting taller than me already. I'm only 5 feet tall and a half an inch, and that's all I grew. I mean, I used to be 5'1", but I'm shrinking. And I enjoy living at Oakwood very much. And I guess history was not my favorite subject, or even something that I could do very well, but I think it's interesting when you read historical novels and learn more details about it. So I'll sign off for now. Bye-bye.